common misconception that we all have when we're looking at people online, especially on Instagram, whether we're looking at their physique, how successful they are, or even just their lifestyle, is thinking that people don't have the same problems that we do. We think that somehow they're just immune to the things that we struggle with day in, day out. They've always got loads of money. They've always got time for the gym. They've always got opportunities coming their way from each and every direction. Basically, they just have life on easy mode compared to us. And that's why they're able to be successful, have loads of muscle, low levels of body fat, loads of money in the bank account, looking great all the time with no signs of stress, because they just don't share our challenges. They don't share the same struggles that we do. They don't have to cram their own training sessions into a small 45-minute gap in a lunch break during a busy day. They don't have kids waking them up at 5 a.m. on a Sunday when they'd rather be sleeping in and recuperating from the busy week. They've always got surplus cash in their current account, so they never really have to worry about paying their credit card off every month because they have a lot of money in the first place. Basically, for them, money problems don't exist. And of course, this is all completely not true. We all have the same excuses and problems. They are not unique to us, although it can feel that way sometimes when we're scrolling through social media, when we're looking at other people's highlight reels. It just seems like they have a much easier life compared to us, because none of us have enough money. Whether you're earning £20,000 a year or £200,000 a year, money problems always persist. They'll just change a little bit. The person earning £200,000 a year will still be worrying about money, just in a completely different way compared to the person only earning £20,000 a year. Even in the £1 million a year bracket, you'll still likely be stressed about money. Sure, you're not going to be wondering about where your next meal is coming from or how on earth you're going to pay for a £4 flat white at Cafe Nero, but you may be worrying about a huge tax bill that you have to pay next month, which was completely unexpected, and you have no idea where that money is going to come from. It's still a big problem. And secondly, none of us have enough time either. We're always chasing our tail, trying to squeeze all of the things in during the day that we need to. The 22-year-old fresh out of university who's just started their first job is going to feel like they don't have enough hours in the day to fit everything in. They want to socialize, work a lot of hours. It's new to them. They're not used to the work environment, and they're going to be time poor. And neither will that same person who's now 45 years old. He's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. He's got a more important job. He's also going to feel like he doesn't have enough time. Even the full-time influencer, even the online personal trainer, they are still going to struggle sometimes to squeeze their own training into their diary. Many of my ex-personal training colleagues back in the UK would regularly skip their own training sessions simply because they just didn't have enough time in the day to fit them in. Or if they did have time, they were tired, they were burnt out, so they just skipped their own training sessions, even though they almost spent every single waking hour in the gym. Crazy, right? But that just goes to show you that everyone is time poor. None of us have as much time as we would like to get our own training sessions in. Maybe that surprises you, but it's completely true. None of us feel like we have enough time in the day to get things done. But here's the thing, there will be someone out there who is poorer than you, who has less time than you, who had less opportunities growing up than you, who is still doing the work, who is still going to the gym, who is still investing their spare money. They're creating their own opportunities instead of waiting for them to come their way. And their circumstances are going to be tougher than yours. And honestly, this is one of the most eye-opening things that I've experienced from traveling around Latin America in the last couple of years. People here in Colombia are on the whole a lot less privileged than the same person that was born in the UK. Life is hard here for the vast majority of people. I'm the exception to the rule, but that doesn't stop them from doing the things that they need to do. They're happy even though they have no money in the bank. They're hardworking even though their job probably pays them terribly. They're nice to other people in the street even though their life is hard. I'll give you a classic example. Here in Colombia, when you're walking down the street, everyone will say to you, "Buenos dias, ¿cómo estás?" which literally means good morning, how are you? Whenever you walk past someone on the street, and they'll say it with a smile on their face. In the afternoon, they say buenas tardes, and they genuinely mean it. They genuinely want to say something nice to you, despite potentially not having a penny to their name or having a really tough life. Now, I'm not saying here that your excuses are not valid. They probably are. You don't have it easy. You probably don't have amazing genetics. You probably don't have enough money to be able to afford expensive personal training, which is why it's a good thing my online coaching only costs around £7 per day, so you don't need to pay me for expensive personal training. Link in the description if you want more information on that. But what I'm trying to say is don't let your excuses stop you. Because if you're watching this from your house or flat in the UK, just know that there is someone out there in Latin America who's living in a favela or a poor neighborhood who has way more excuses than you, who is still in shape. They have more excuses than you not to go and work out or eat well, or not to walk around with a smile on their face, to not hit the booze every weekend, but yet they still do it anyway. And at the end of the day, if you use your perfectly valid excuses and you don't go to the gym and you don't eat well, there's someone out there who's going to be more lean and jacked than you are, and maybe more successful with that. See you in the next video.